Good morning, everyone. I had to re-record this because my voice was so quiet the first time, but I wanted to show you this. I found it very interesting. I was watching Yellow Rose for Texas video on Vimeo, and here in this image, I'm just going to zoom this up here a little bit so you can see it a bit better. This is the Mad King George III, and down here you have George Washington. And she's put their two pictures together, and what she's doing is she's insinuating that they are one and the same. And I found this extremely intriguing, and so I decided to actually go ahead and do the dig to see if it matches up. And, well, I think you know what I'm probably going to say, because it does. Okay, so here is a portrait of King George III, and here is a portrait of George Washington. Now, they're not identical, but they're not that different. Okay, same hairdo anyway. They like the same hair. You couldn't say that they're not the same, but there you go. Okay, so obviously it gets better than that. So here we have the story of King George III, who I really don't know very much. I actually know nothing about either of them, but what I'm trying to prove is that this man became George Washington. So let's just have a little look here. So here he is, George Washington. He is the first president of the United States, and he began his time in office in 1789 until March 1797. So let's go over here and we'll see what happened with King George III. And I do know a little bit about him, but not that much. Okay, so we're going to skip down. There's some more pictures of him, his early reign. That's not the important part. What I want to get to is actually here, the American War of Independence, and we're just going to go to the last paragraph here. Last couple sentences. So, when John Adams was appointed American minister to London in 1785, George had become resigned to the new relationship between his country and the former colonies. He told Adams, or so we think, he told Adams, I was the last to consent to the separation. So he was the last one to say it was okay. But the separation having been made and having become inevitable, I have always said, as I said now, that I would be the first to meet the friendship of the United States as an independent power. So he did not want to let them go, but he decided he was going to be the first friend, or first leader, not entirely sure. How do I know? Well, William the Pitt is a very famous uh, prime minister in England, and we will find out down here what happens. Okay, so during the time when William Pitt was, Pitt the Younger, I believe it was leading. Oh, actually, it might have been Pitt the Elder. I think Pitt the Younger was during Prince Regent time. But anyway, here we go. Okay, so it says here, actually, we'll start here. By this time, George's health was deteriorating. Okay, he had mental illness characterized by acute mania, which was possibly a symptom of the genetic disease porphyria. I hope I'm saying that right, although this has been questioned. A study of samples of the king's hair published in 2005 revealed high levels of arsenic, a possible trigger for the disease. The king may have had a brief episode of the disease in 1765, but a longer episode began in the summer of 1788. How convenient. At the end of the parliamentary session, he went to Cheltenham Spa to recuperate. It was the furthest he had ever been from London. Just a short 100 miles, but his condition worsened. In November, he became seriously deranged, sometimes speaking for many hours without pause, causing him to foam at the mouth and make his voice hoarse. Mad. Now, is that mad angry or mad crazy? He would frequently repeat himself and write sentences with over 400 words, his vocabulary becoming more and more complex. His doctors were largely at a loss to explain his illness, and spurious stories about his condition spread, such as the claim that he shook hands with a tree in the mistaken belief that it was the King of Prussia. Treatment for mental illness was primitive by modern standards, and the king's doctors treated the king by forcibly restraining him until he was calm, or applying caustic poultices to draw out evil humors. Okay, you have a royal person in power who's going crazy apparently and needs to be restrained. Are they going to be out in public? No, they've been shuffled off apparently, quote unquote, to Cheltenham Spa. since 1788. How convenient. In the reconvened Parliament, Fox, not sure who that is, and Pitt, the Prime Minister, wrangled over the terms of regency during the King's incapacity, and while both agreed it would be most reasonable for George's eldest son, George Prince of Wales, to act as regent, and I will put a link to Blackadder, the second series, in case you're interested, to act on his ill father's behalf with full powers. So here we have the son acting on the father's behalf with full powers, and the actual king has been squirreled away since 1788 and is too insane to be seen by the public. In February 1789, the Regency Bill authorizing the Prince of Wales to act as regent was introduced and passed in the House of Commons, but before the House of Lords could pass, George III recovered. So very interesting. So now he's recovered, but he's not in power anymore. So where is he? They tried to shoot him in May 1800. Let's go have a look again. Well, that's convenient because he would have been back by then. Hey? So very interesting. So it says in here that in 1789 they introduced the bill to be passed in the House of Commons, and before the House of Lords could pass it, though, George III was recovered. So when was it passed? So if you guys can prove to me that he was walking around, because it says here, what do we have? 89 to 97. I'm not seeing him again. Right? This is just going on about his recovery and then all kinds of other stuff that's happening. Anyway, guys, I don't know what to say about that. But what I find very interesting here, and I wanted to actually put this in here, going back up here, just wanted to repeat this. So George had become resigned to the new relationship between his country and former colonies. He told Adams, "I was the last to consent to the separation, but the separation having been made and having become inevitable, I have always said, as I say now, that I would be the first to meet the friendship of the United States as an independent power." But what's so interesting is that the United States at that time was the United States of Greater Austria, was it not? Not America. First use of United States of America. When was America called the United States? There we go. Let's have a look at that. Interesting. But then people have said, well, the reason that they did that was because this is the birthplace of the Illuminati. And we all know that George Washington was a Mason. Well, was George the Third? Probably. And there, look, he looks like Albert Pike in his old age. They really don't change, do they? Anyway, before this gets completely mad, I'm just going to post this. Tell me what you think, guys. This is what's being said, and it looks like it's got legs. What do you think? All right, talk to you later. Bye.